This is an example of a custom interface that I asked a maintenance agent to create for me. So this agent, whenever there's issues, the agent reviews work orders, maintenance plans, etc., and then suggests updates, changes, etc. So instead of just getting, a massive stack of, you can imagine pages and pages of text, which is a pain to try and figure out and read what's changed, what's updated, should it be approved, should it not be. This agent has now created an interface where whenever there's changes to work orders, it then lists the work orders that need to, or that are proposed for update. And then you can actually review, okay, so for example, I can click on one of the proposed updates, and then you can actually see exactly, and it highlights exactly what's changed, what's added, uh, and so on. And then you can, go ahead and click on one of the changes. So for example, if we click here, you can see, okay, cool. So the proposed change is now there's a specific measurement. So instead of just getting, pages and pages of text, now you can get your agents to display the work that they're doing for you in whatever format you like, so that you can efficiently manage, interact with them, engage with them, etc. So let's have a look at how we can actually create uh, a custom interface for one of your agents. So earlier today, I was watching the emergency debate on artificial intelligence and agents on the Diary of a CEO's podcast. And there was actually an interesting example of an application or interface that you can now build with AI. So what I've actually done is I actually pre-recorded that snippet, and I've also then added some additional features, which I thought would be quite interesting. And I've actually then gone ahead and shared it with this agent so I've saved the file on my OneDrive for Business. And then I actually have now shared that video with this agent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually then ask this agent to go off and build that application for us while we're watching the same, the video that the agent is using with the instructions for the application. So I'm going to get him to, or her in this case, to start actually going and building that application. So you'll see she will now, retrieve the file and so on. And then let's go ahead and actually watch what those instructions look like.
Built one last night, by the way.
An internal tool, or
I built an application to track how my kids earn pocket money.
amazing.
So I just told it that I wanted to track the tasks that are happening around the house and assign a value to them.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to, at the end of the week, push a button and get a summary of how much to pay each child for their pocket money.
We are so screwed.
And within 15 minutes, it had created this application. And it was amazing. Like, you could toggle between, like, here's the place where you have the kids, and here's the weekly reports, and here's the how much per task, and you can tick off the tasks or remove tasks or add tasks. So then I now have this application which took 15 minutes of just talking about what I wanted, and now I have an application to run the pocket money situation in the house. And by the way, it's something, having run an IT agency years ago, that's something that we would have charged £5,000 to £10,000 to create, or $5,000 to $10,000 to create.
And how much time?
So I think let's build on that a little bit. Let's create a family dashboard that the family can use to visualize and help plan their week. So let's make the first tab a calendar week view showing each of the tasks that are due on the various days. But then let's also add the capability that when we're adding family members, let's also be able to add adults. So we can then add the parents. And then instead of just only adding tasks for the week, let's also let's create the capability to add events. So then we can actually create a full interactive dashboard so that the family can, plan their week, see what's coming up and so on. So for the events, let's obviously include a location, time, and so forth. But then let's also have the option to then set which parent is responsible to, take the family to that event, as well as like tick who's joining the event. Then for the weekly reports, obviously it's only the children and whichever of their tasks earned pocket money. But then let's include, how many tasks were assigned, per child, how many were completed, and then obviously the total pocket money for the week. Okay, let's see how that looks. Yeah, let's take it from there. Okay, so the agent has now gone off and it's busy building that full application. Obviously, it's quite in depth, so it's taking its time. So there you can see also, as your agents are executing tasks, there's a dashboard at the bottom. You can just see, okay, cool. In this case, it's first analyze the contents of some files. And then in this case, it's retrieved, it will just be the default interface. So if we actually go off, I forgot to show you. So if you go to your custom interfaces, you can see the custom interfaces that this agent has created and can work with. So I have 3 custom interfaces. If it wasn't obvious, this presentation is an interactive presentation creator that this agent created for me. Okay, there it's gone off and finished. So let me just quickly go back to finish what I was saying there. So then, okay, that's updated. Now you can see it's added the family task and event dashboard, which is just created. So you can, switch between your interfaces and so on. So whenever your agents update one of these interfaces or creates one, just in the chat window, just gives you a summary. Okay, cool. This is what I've done. So let's have a look at that. Let's see what this interface looks like. Let's see how close it got first attempt. Okay, that looks pretty cool. So we've got the week. So we've got tasks. No tasks, fun. Time to relax. That's fun. Events. We can add some events. So let's add some people. Categories, reports. So let's see. Add new member. Add Craig. I'm an adult. Confirm. Cool. And let's add child. Let's say Victoria. It's my standard child name. So now we've got some people. Let's maybe just add a task. I don't know. Do some stuff. Let's assign it to a child. Let's make it, I don't know, let's say it happened in the past. Let's make it $10 for that squeegees. Let's assume it's completed. Cool. That was quite nice, actually. It actually came out very nice. Maybe just as you creating these applications, if you don't explain, let's say, exactly how you want it to work or something's not working, again, you can just ask your agent, please fix the application that you've created or something's not working. The agents automatically save any error logs or things like that your agents then have access to. So even if you're not a technical person or a programmer, don't worry. Just tell your agents what you want or tell them what's working, not working, and they'll figure it out for you. But this came out really nicely. Let's see if the events work. Let's add an event. Let's also pull that to a whole bunch of typing. Location. All right, let's do something random. Okay, let's make it for tomorrow. Let's give it a time. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. 11 a.m. So let's add an adult me. Let's see if we can add both. I haven't added any categories, so okay. And let's see. Cool. That looks quite cool. So we can see who's joining. That was my randomly typed information. So this came out really nicely. I'm not going to spend too much time playing with this, but you get the point. So you can, as you saw now, I didn't even, if you don't want to type out the whole description in this case, I literally just took that video that we just watched and then shared it with the agent and said, as you can see here, watch the video, extract the instructions, and then build the application in this specific slot. So that's literally how easy it is to start creating these custom interfaces or unique applications. And in this case, typically what you would then do is create a workflow for this agent, for example, to read your emails every morning and see if the school has, sent any emails on sporting events coming up, etc. And then the agent can automatically update your dashboard or calendar or whatever the case is. So, it's always live, etc. So yeah, this actually came out really nicely. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what's next on the agenda. So let's go back so we can hide this custom interface now, and we can go back to the presentation. So this is another example of an application that I created with one of my agents. So obviously there's been a lot of hype around the JFK assassination documents that have been released. But if any of you have been to the website, the documents are literally, I think it says there, nearly 2,500 documents with no titles, no information. It's literally the document number and no other information. So what I got this agent to do is actually go and read those documents and then create a title for the document and a few other categories. So an abstract, which government agencies are mentioned or involved in that document. Is there any agents or which people are in the various documents? I asked it to create a class and various other things. So in this case, it's literally created an application for me now where I can now, you can search for a specific document title if you're looking for something. Also added, for interest's sake, if the document discusses the mafia or not. And then you can actually then in this application go ahead and view the document. So I can, let me pick one that's not massive to download. Let's see, let's choose a random one. It's all massive. Okay, here's a small one. So then you can actually go ahead and view the document in this application. So it then downloads it from the website. And what's quite cool is you can even mark it up and then print it or whatever the case is. So this is just another example of the complete application that one of our agents built for us. Some additional notes on the custom interfaces. In the standard template for the custom interfaces, we've included some of the capabilities and functions of the main application. So this includes the capability to take standard text in Markdown format and convert that into styled HTML. So when your agents are executing the various tasks, etc., and this needs to incorporate into one of your custom interfaces, they will handle the tasks as per normal. And then when it renders and is displayed for you, it will include headings, lists, tables, whatever the case is. And I'll show you some examples of each of those. We've also included the creation of diagrams, which is in Mermaid syntax for those of you that are interested. So again, your agents will return normal or plain text with some syntax styling. And then this will render for you, be displayed for you in your custom applications as charts, graphs, mind maps, etc. We've also added the capability to interact with the camera. So you can take photos the same way that you can take photos with your agents when asking them questions. And as I mentioned earlier, all the data is automatically integrated, saved, and accessible to your agent. Then in terms of styling, we also included the same library or bootstrap styling with our custom styles as the main interface. So your agents will be able to make your custom interfaces look and feel similar to the rest of the application. And then for those of you that want to add the capability, you can also add the reading buttons to a specific container. So that might be used if you maybe, so I have an agent that looks at my calendar and then before each meeting or key events, it creates like meeting preparation notes for me. So then that can, for example, the high level bullet points can just be read out so that I'm aware of some key points, ahead of meetings. And then I can obviously dig into those as I need to. So let's, for example, maybe we can add the photo taking capability to that family dashboard application. So my query or question to my agent is I'll ask the agent and explain which of my custom interfaces to update. So I've asked the agent to please update the family dashboard interface and then add the functionality to create or when creating and editing tasks and events to be able to take photos now, and then those get saved with those events. So I'm going to ask our agent to update that interface. We're not on that interface now, but it'll go and update that interface for us, and then it should have that additional capability. While the agent's going off doing that, let me show you examples of what I mean around, taking text and creating the styled HTML. So, for example, this, what you see here, this flowchart is actually generated from text. So what I actually did in this custom interface is I created the capability to actually then edit these diagrams. So for example, here you can see what the text looks like. So when if your agent is executing some workflow, some task for you, where they need to generate a flowchart, what they'll return is something like this, which then gets transformed into the diagram. Let me show you some examples of what each of those look like. So you've obviously got your headings, you can have your lists, tables again. So when your tables render in your custom interfaces, it'll have the same features. So you'll be able to copy the table, you'll be able to make edits in the tables, checklists, again, interactive, and then you can also clicking and dragging, copy the checklist, and it'll include whatever updates you make. You'll also be able to render images. Again, this is from a URL. It's not the actual, full data of the image. In the custom interfaces, you can generate and display mathematical equations. You've already seen the flow charts as an example of a graph with a line plot, as well as a bar chart. Your interface can include mind maps, Gantt charts, pie charts, quadrant charts, sequence diagrams, class diagrams, and then if you really want to get fancy, you can do, it's called a C. Okay, the agent finished that. Let me go back. It's called a C4 diagram, but it's a full system diagram, again, which your agents can create and render for you. They can display software blocks, and then obviously, your standard links, which are clickable and will go to wherever those links point to. So yeah, all of this capability then is included by default in the template for the custom interfaces, which the agents then build on based on whatever interface or application they're creating for you. They'll also automatically add any additional styling requirements that isn't part of the standard style library. So let's go back and let's have a look at the update. So that the agent has answered and it said that it's added this new capability. So let's check if that works. Let's see, so we can go to our family application. Let's see how it looks. So let's just go to a random task. Cool. So we can take a photo. Let's see. Yep, it works. Obviously, the only camera now is me. So I can take the picture. Let's see. Work. Oh, not too many now. Okay. And yeah, cool there. So now it's included that picture. So that is just something fun I thought of. You could maybe to inspire the, children or whatever to complete their chores or whatever the case is. You could maybe get them to create some competition around, taking photos to show how the various chores were completed. But yeah, it's just an example. And let's see if it works for the events. Yeah, cool. So you could, obviously, if you'd have the application open on your phone, and then you'd, take a picture of something fun and link that to the event. But yeah, there we go. So yeah, and as I said, before, now this obviously then saves, and any interactive or dynamic data, such as events and things, whatever the case is in your application, it automatically gets handled for you. So yeah, that's it on the custom interfaces. So let's have a look at exactly how you can create agents, deploy agents, and get them to link and interact with your live documents on your various cloud servers, etc.